Yeah, it's called Pro-Choicer Laughs and Insults, but has zero arguments. So I thought we would watch this and first decide if this title is even true. And if it is true, then maybe we can help out the pro-choicer a little bit.
Hi, what's your name?
Taylor.
Hayden, good to meet you.
Taylor.
Yeah, I know, I'm saying my name. Hayden.
Oh.
Yeah, good to meet you. Yeah, so what's your position on abortion?
Wow, awkward start. Yikes. Oof.
All right. Well, quite frankly, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this is any of your business.
Thank you.
All right. I've been wanting to talk to you one of you guys for a really, really long time. I don't know if you're gonna upload me on my YouTube. I don't know which channel I'm gonna be on. If I'm on YouTube, hi. If you decide to remove me, whatever. But quite frankly, this is none of your business. You're on nobody's side right now, other than a couple of guys who already are anti-abortion. Right now, you're just making everybody on campus.
So this is one of those challenging arguments because she's technically right. However, it's just not going to convince anybody because it's a political contentious issue all the same that's hotly debated. Just like gay marriage. Is that really anyone's business? No. However, that's not enough to just shut down a conversation or an objection to it. They're going to just tell you, I don't give a shit whether or not this is my business, because they think that it's killing a baby. So they're going to be like, I don't care if you say this isn't my business because I care about it.
There's not a single person you are getting on your side. Okay, personal beliefs aside, you are not getting anybody on your side by saying everybody's who's had an abortion is evil. Do you understand? This is terrible. You're making women feel awful. If there's somebody on campus who's had an abortion, they're hating themselves right now because of you. This is not okay.
Yeah, so obviously there's nothing evil about getting an abortion. I talked about this before, I'll talk about it again. We have a general understanding of when sentience begins. The philosophical conversation about personhood is a whole separate argument that you could make. But as far as sentience, around 28 weeks, that seems to be when most scientific communities accept sentience beginning. And most abortions take place long before that. You're not killing a person because no person has ever formed. There's no personhood, there's not even sentience. So all you're doing is preventing a person from forming.
You are on nobody's side right now, other than a couple of guys, couple of conservative guys who I'm not even gonna try to debate you about your personal beliefs. Everybody on campus right now hates you. Do you understand?
Yeah, so just real quick, first
Dude,
of all,
she's like, I hope you know that everybody on campus fucking hates you. Just like your father.
but what happens to my neighbors is my business. When my neighbors in the womb are being murdered by the millions, that is my business. And I'd also point out the same argument that you're saying that it's not my business is a very similar argument that those who are
Again, my neighbors being murdered in the womb, what about your neighbors that are already people, that already have sentience?
is a very similar argument that those who were in the North in the early 1800s in the United States made against slavery. They said, the plantation owners all said, it's none of your business what I do with my property. Now they were wrong because humans are not property. They are humans who are made in the image of God and are valuable and have a right to liberty even when the state doesn't recognize it. So you're saying it's none of my business, presumably because I don't have a uterus, but I'd point out you don't own a plantation yet you can still say slavery is wrong. What do you think?
None of what you said has anything to do with what I said. And this is a really common
I mean, yeah, it did. It did. It really did. This is why you just shouldn't take the it's not your business approach if you're going to debate publicly. If that's just your only approach, then it's not going to work because then they'll do just this. He's pointing to an example in history where something obviously wrong was taking place, but people said just the same, hey, it's none of your business. That's obviously how he said had to do with what she said.
I guess Ben Shapiro sort of thing with you type of guys. I'm not even gonna acknowledge that. I forgot what that sort of argument that's called. I don't know. I don't remember, but I know this is a common thing for you guys to just go widely off topic. You are on nobody's side right now. You're not getting anybody on your side by calling me a slave owner.
I never called you a slave owner. I said you're making a similar argument to those who were slave owners did. Slaveholders said, you don't own a plantation, you can't tell me what to do with my property. They said that circle around us, we can oppress other people. Right now what you're doing is you're saying, Hayden, you don't have a uterus, you can't tell women what to do with their bodies. What I'm pointing out though is that just like in the 1800s with slavery, the blacks were being enslaved, where northern people's the blacks who were being enslaved in the early 1800s, they, just like everyone around here, have a right to liberty. And people in the North.
This is rough. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, if debate is just not your thing, just don't do it.
People in the North, like you, who said it's none of my business.
And yeah, exactly. Thank you, chat. That's also a great point, because it's a false equivalency. Because pregnancy is something that happens specifically to the woman, the individual. Slavery, you're talking about taking another person and forcing them to work against their will. Similarly to forcing a woman to undergo a pregnancy against her will. Because he has this weird, like, religious view that, like, the minute the egg awakes in the uterus, that means that it's now a human child. Like, because he has some weird fucking view and doesn't know the science about sentience and doesn't understand the very basic concept that, hey, it's not a person yet, you're just stopping a person from ever even forming. Because he doesn't get that, we get this crap instead.
You're making the same argument that slave owners did. Do you recognize that? You're saying just stay out of this? Again, early in the conversation, you said it's none of your business. But when my neighbors are being murdered, it is my business. Just like in the early 1800s when blacks were being enslaved, it was everyone's.
Why does he keep saying the blacks?
Do you have any response?
Okay, I'm sorry.
You got no response, bro?
No, I do have one. That's all.
All right, let's
I do kind of like how not serious she's taking him, like how she's just treating him like such a joke. Probably very invalidating for him. That's pretty funny.
I feel like there's a big difference between slavery and just some women getting an abortion. Sorry,
Yeah, thank you, Gaussian, and that's another excellent point and a great way of putting it. Her position is that if it's not your body, you don't get to control it, which also extends to his stupid slave owner example.
I'm sorry, no offense to you, but like that was really funny. The blacks, I'm sorry. That was a bunch of nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay, so can I point out again and try to stay with me this time? The argument's the same. Early on in this conversation, you said it's none of my business, correct?
Okay, yes, I said it's none of your business, quite frankly.
Okay, so you said it's none of my business. Why is it none of my business when someone is being murdered?
Because it's not even your body. And
Okay.
quite frankly,
It's also not someone being murdered. There's not a someone to murder yet. When you murder a human being, you're taking away their personhood and their experience of life. This is not what's happening when you simply stop a person from ever even beginning. And yeah, also, he doesn't even realize that he himself is advocating to subject women to a very challenging experience. I mean, being pregnant, first and foremost, is not easy. It carries with it a fuck ton of risks. There are a bunch of risks, even mental risks, associated with giving birth. These are the pro-lifers, but they are completely fine fucking up, even destroying people's lives if it means that they give birth. Literally, like, they don't care about the mother's life. They don't care about the fact that maternal deaths would go up if there was a federal abortion ban. They don't care about any of this. They're not pro-life. They're pro-birth. And that is literally all.